And with that, let's bring in our first guest this morning, who may know a little bit about this stuff because he is with Remax. Rick Borrelle. Rick, welcome. Let's get your mic turned on here. There you go. Nice and close.
Good morning. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah. Remax, and I know you're involved specifically with a new estate, Fieldstone Estates in Greece.
Yes.
Before we get to that, let's tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the business?
I've been in the real estate business since 1984. I've been a broker since 87.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been at it quite a while, seen a lot of peaks and valleys, but Rochester's been a very resilient town, and we've weathered all the storms, and we're here, and we have a lot of good value to offer people here in town. You know, when people come in from out of town and they've been in New York City or Connecticut and they start seeing values here, there's a lot of house to be bought here for the money.
Yeah, I think people who live here kind of take it for granted, but anyone who moves to town here has got to be fascinated at how much house you can get for your money.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
no question about it.
It is fascinating. What's your favorite part of your work?
I like
closing.
Closings are important. Absolutely, yeah.
Just going out on a limb there.
I like all parts of the business. I do a lot of new construction. I represent a builder out in Greece, Horizon Homes. It's a subsidiary of Wegman Companies, and it's off North Greece Road in the town of Greece. It's single-family home subdivisions, a lot of nice families in the Hilton Central School District.
Okay.
Now, when you say Wegman Companies, it's not the store. Danny's not in the house business.
No, it's not the grocery store.
Oh, okay.
No, they're a full-service real estate company.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, quite a mogul, that Danny Wegman.
I know he's
really
selling W homes, whatever those are. Now, you didn't do real estate all your life. At some point, you said, I'm kind of intrigued by this. What'd you do before that?
Actually, when I was in college, I went to Niagara University. I always tried to sign up for a real estate course, but there was only one offered, and I never was able to get in. It was always closed out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to wait till I got out of school. I do have a business degree, and actually my first job was right down the street on Rochester Plumbing Supply for a year.
Oh, okay.
Not to throw a plug in here. I'm not even sure if they're in the business.
We're all about plugs on this show.
Okay, good. So that was about a year and a half, and then I got into real estate, and it's worked out real well for me.
And you still like it?
I love it.
How's it changed over, say, I'm sure it's changed dramatically since the 80s, but how's it even changed over the last 5 years?
It's changed quite a bit. The dynamics of the business have changed. The ability for people to get mortgages has changed. A lot of the no income verifications have gone away. So I think a lot of these changes are for the good.
Mm-hmm.
People actually have to have, jobs and show income and that kind of thing, have good credit to buy a house today. So I think there's been a lot of good, fundamental changes out there that are going to really segue us into the next 10 years, hopefully, for sure.
Can we talk about his new development?
Let's do that.
I was just curious, the price ranges of the homes, how many were building, and Fieldstone Estates over in Greece, right?
Right.
What kind of spec? Can you give me an idea what your price ranges are?
Yeah, we started $200,000. The average sale price in there last year was about $275,000.
Okay.
We're building about 10 homes a year.
Okay.
We just got into phase 5. We're about halfway through that. We've also got just got our approvals for the next phase, Section 6, which will probably start in the spring.
Okay.
4-bedroom, 2.5-bath colonials, probably averaging about 2,500 square feet. A nice, tight Energy Star home. Today materials are so superior to where they were years ago.
Yeah.
Better insulation package, 2x6 walls. Thermal pane windows.
Nice.
Nice, tight, efficient homes.
Not like Jeff's, our bosses. He's
Right,
got an old
yeah,
house that
right.
I think he wants to burn it down now.
Got to sit in the house with a sweater on.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that in our subdivision. You can
Really?
sit there in your T-shirt.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And you're into phase 6. I mean, that speaks for
Well,
itself.
we're in phase 5.
Well, but
phase 6, I'm sure by spring for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do the phases change in requirements that the owners can do or not? In other words, you're going into phase 6. Is there anything that changes, like, I can build a bigger house now or smaller, or no?
Well, normally the prices, with every time you get in a new section, developmental costs go up a little bit, so they normally do get a little bit more expensive.
Oh.
And the state is constantly changing things for the better, so the houses seem to get better as you go along, too.
Okay.
With more insulation, whatever it might be, different codes change, but they're all for the better. They make it a little bit more expensive, but you get a lot more house and a lot better quality today.
Rick Borrelle is our guest from Remax. He is proudly touting Fieldstone Estates in Greece. Any open houses this weekend?
Not in Fieldstone this weekend, but the following weekend we will. We're just finishing our model at 86 Rockwell Drive.
Okay.
So the driveway will be going in this week. So next weekend.
Cool.
We'll be having an open house Sunday 1 to 4.
Who's buying new houses? Can you put a profile on these people?
I can. People with secure jobs is we see a lot of school teachers, police officers, a lot of civil service people.
Yeah.
We're not seeing the Kodak person like we did years ago, although, you still see a few around, Kodak and Xerox and Bausch & Lomb and that kind of thing. But I think for the most part, I see self-employed people, civil service, school teachers, are feeling really good about their jobs, so they're not afraid to.
Are these people from that profile Steve speaks of? Are they from the Greece area and just moving to a different home, majority of them, or are they coming from out of?
I would say primarily from the Greece area. We do have some relocation coming in,
okay,
but primarily from the Greece area, just looking, they're having more kids and need another bedroom, want a little more square footage.
The schools, of course, are important.
Schools are very important.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny because the West Side has such a stigma. You know what I mean?
know
It's
where you're
always
going.
East Side,
we
West
go.
Side. You know what I mean? But that area of the West Side is beautiful. That's. I mean, I kind of live right near there. I live off of Maiden Lane, so I know exactly where you are. And
Sure.
that's a beautiful area. There's a lot of land, and it's you're on the Hilton Greece border, so you can do Hilton schools, which are good, Greece schools, which are good. It's not. It's not farm country. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a great feel. When you're down in the subdivision, you have this feel that you are in the country, but you're literally 5 minutes away from, Wegmans.
Ridge Road, the mall, everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All the schools, all the banks up at the corner, the YMCA. There's so much within a 5-minute drive, 390.
And that's always the question. How far am I from my nearest Tops or Wegmans? You
Right.
know, and,
Absolutely. It's a great location.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk to us for a second about interest rates. What are you seeing these past couple weeks?
Rates, they can't get any more attractive. I mean, you can get, some 15-year rates in the, high threes. 30-year
Okay.
rates around 4 right now.
Wow.
So certainly money is not going to get any more attractive.
Okay.
So there's a lot of opportunity out there for people to, step up if they need a bigger house or just want to upgrade.
Yeah.
It's an ideal time.
Good. Good.
Can rates
I
go
like it.
down any more?
Artificially, maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if the government could press that, artificially lower them any further. I mean, what's the prime rate is 0, right? Or is it a
I'd be
negative
surprised
number?
if they did go any lower, to be honest.
I mean, pretty soon they'll be paying you to buy a house.
Yeah, right.
And that's what I'll buy.
Yeah.
Does that worry you as an agent? Because I know Pat was saying, with the rates being so low, it concerns him because that's what happened last time. Rates were so low, and then everything kind of fell apart. I mean, they've changed so much as far as how you can get a loan and all the financing and everything. Does that concern you that rates have been so low for so long that eventually it's going to flop again?
Well, I think I'm not going to call it a concern. I think what happens when, if somebody gets a 3.8% mortgage and all of a sudden rates go to 5, they're not really wanting to move because they don't want to get into a higher rate.
Oh.
So,
you're getting the comfort zone people.
Zone, yeah.
Right.
People might refinance and they got 3.5, and if rates went up to 5, which is still cheap money,
Yeah.
they may not be as interested in moving up unless they really have to. They have a couple more kids, they need more room, more square footage.
Yeah.
Or they get a new job, they get a promotion, and they want to just upgrade their standard of living. We
Yeah.
see a lot of that.
But then again, you've got that almost forced drive to buy for people to buy and sell because as rates go up, it's a fear-driven purchase. Like, oh my gosh, the rates are at 11. What if they go to 13?
Yeah, it can create some urgency too, which is good.
Yeah, which is good. So you got a double-edged sword, really.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whenever I hear about mortgage rates, I always start to think, is it time for me to think about refinancing?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you got to do the
How
math.
much did you say your house is almost paid for, Steve? Or
It's not almost. It's I'd say about half paid for.
okay,
I don't know which half.
which half? Julie's half or your half?
Knock on wood on that one. Yeah. But I think our rate is like 5.75. I think maybe I should look at it,
Yeah. Oh, I would definitely.
or maybe
Yeah.
just move to Greece with you.
Well, I'll put you on the radar screen and take a look at rates. You might want to
Yeah.
get in position to do the math. It may work out well for you.
Rick Borrelle from Remax. If you want to take a look at Fieldstone Estates, I'm sure we'll have a link on our site at PropertySourceRadio.com so you can find out what Rick has to offer. 4-bedroom homes.
4-bedroom homes. That's pretty much what we're building. 2.5 baths, sometimes 3 baths.
So that's a family with 3 kids, maybe?
3-4 kids. Sometimes you need a bunk bed, depending on who's coming in.
Steve's not that type anymore. He's
No, I
called
know.
an empty
he's past
nester.
that now,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just she and me, and
We're not sure how long that'll last. Right?
well, it's lasted 26 years, so I'm hoping for another 4 or 5.
That's an accomplishment. That's an accomplishment
If
today.
I'm lucky. Yeah. So, where do you see trends heading? We looked back over the changes over the past 5 years. What do you see down the road?
Well, I think the key is, people have to get their house sold if they're going to move on. And if there's 2 things today that I would tell people if you want to sell your house today, the first thing is you got to get ready to sell. If you don't have your house ready to sell, whether it's painting, putting new carpeting in, doing some minor redecorating, some staging is very, very important because people have so many options in the existing market today. It's got to be ready to show, and it's got to be priced right. It doesn't have to be underpriced, but it's got to be priced right. You got to have your agent come out, take a good look at all the comps, and be very careful about how you price it, because if it ends up being on the market for quite a while, then it could really, that's when people are taking lower offers.
My wife is applauding you at this moment, because when we were thinking a couple of years ago of moving out, and I was ready to just say, let's just sell it as is. Handyman special, like a used car.
Those days are over.
What, really?
Yeah, those days are over.
That's what she said, and I believe her now.
Yeah.
But no, they may, correct me if I'm wrong, they may be not over in a certain percentage of the market, because you'll get that handyman special, but he's going to lose a premium. I mean, he's going to lose a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, he won't even come close to the comparables.
You find a lot of buyers today don't have a lot of extra money in their pocket when they're buying a house. So if they have to get into a house and immediately put new carpets and paint, unlike probably when you bought your house, when I bought mine, we went in, we put new carpets in, we painted and did some work before we move in. A lot of times people don't have that extra money to do that today, so it's got to be ready. I'm not telling you got to replace your kitchen and put $30,000 in the kitchen, but you might have to put carpets and paint and really dress it up nice and neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Very important.
Damn it.
Now, a lot of realtors that we've talked to, like they work with, different companies that provide services like painting and carpeting and stuff. Is that something that you also do, so that when a customer goes to sell their house, you can say, okay, well, if you want to put carpets in, you can call this guy, or,
We work closely with a lot of different companies like that really jump for us when somebody needs them quick. If they can rearrange their schedule, it's very important to get that house set up.
Yeah, because I find, like, for me, if I was going to buy a house and I had to sell mine, I wouldn't know who to call to, who do I call? How do I know that I can trust this person? But if I have a good relationship with my realtor and he says, call Steve's Carpets, I'm going to go, okay, because my realtor's a nice guy, and why would he, send me to some jerk?
It's all about the trust.
Yeah, it's all about trust and relationship. Just like, when you have an attorney close you want to make sure you have a good attorney looking out, to close the deal, and make sure when you're done, nobody's going to come back and there's no liens on the property. It's good and clear to go.
And for a first-time home seller or home buyer, how can you tell that your realtor is someone you can trust? I mean, because I fear that I'll try to sell my house and I get a realtor who hasn't had a sale in a while, so he or she might push the price down because they need the money in a commission. And I want to be able to not worry about that.
You want to ask for references. Get some references from people you've done business with. Talk to your friends who they use for an agent. Were they comfortable with him, and that they feel that they got a good honest job from somebody? So I think you got to ask around a little bit.
Pat, you've been in the business. I mean, you agree?
I wouldn't hire me if that's what you're saying.
Well, anything else before we send you out today?
I don't think so. I appreciate you being on the show, and if anybody is out and around looking for a new home, you want to stop down to Fieldstone next weekend. We'll be down there 1 to 4. The address is 86 Rockwell Drive, and
1 to 4 Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can Google me at rickborrelli.com.
That's what I was going to ask next.
Absolutely.
You ever Google yourself?
I have Googled myself. Yeah.
It's fun, isn't it?
Well,
come up with a lot of different people.
Rick, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yeah.